Sometimes a person is crying in sujud, and it feels like their voice is not even reaching the heavens. They make dua, then make it again, then after every prayer, but life remains silent. And the most painful part comes when you see other people's prayers being answered, their lives changing, while you remain stuck in the exact same place. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Ya Allah, are you even listening to me? Sometimes, this feeling slowly begins to settle in a person's heart, that maybe their prayer is not worthy of being accepted. And that feeling starts breaking a person from the inside. But today's story is not just one person's story. It is the story of every person who once raised their hands in the last part of the night with tears in their eyes, and then waited for months or even years. Maybe this story will give you an answer that your heart has been waiting for a very long time. This is the story of Arif. Arif was an ordinary young man, not very rich, not very successful, just a soft-hearted person, tired of life. His father was often sick. The financial condition at home was weak, and his own life was filled with constant failures. But more than all of these things, there was one thing silently eating him alive inside. That one prayer, the one he had been making for years. After every prayer, every Friday, every tahajjud, he asked Allah for the same thing. And every time he felt, maybe this time Allah will listen to me. But time kept passing. Months, then years, and nothing changed. First he stayed patient. Then he waited with hope. Then he suffered silently. But slowly, a strange exhaustion began to build inside his heart. He was no longer the same person. Earlier, when the adhan echoed, his heart used to feel peace. Now he only felt silence. Earlier, his eyes would fill with tears during dua. Now even words refused to come out. One night, he placed his head in sujud, and for the first time, these words came from his heart. Ya Allah, why is my prayer not being answered? This question did not come from his tongue alone. It was the voice of his broken heart. That night, he cried for a very long time, and slowly he began making dua less and less, because sometimes a person does not get tired of praying. They get tired of waiting. Days kept passing. Arif started meeting people less often. He became quieter. But the hardest moments were when someone shared their good news with him. I got the job. I got married. My problems are finally solved. And every time Arif smiled. But inside, a voice whispered, Ya Allah, you listen to everyone else. When will you listen to me? This was the stage where a person looks alive from the outside, but is slowly dying from the inside. One night it was raining. Arif sat on the rooftop, staring at the sky. The wind was cold, but his heart felt heavy. Felt like his life had stopped moving. And then a dangerous thought entered his mind. Maybe Allah is upset with me. That thought spread through his heart like poison. Maybe Allah is upset with me. That thought spread through his heart like poison. He started seeing himself as less than others. He began feeling like maybe something was wrong with him. And this is the moment when Shaitan begins filling a person's wounds with whispers. A few days later, Arif went to the mosque. After the prayer ended, an old man sat beside him. He asked only one question. My son, you look very tired. What burden are you carrying in your heart? For some reason, Arif's eyes filled with tears. After years, he finally broke down in front of someone. He told him everything. His prayer, his waiting, his hopelessness, even his complaints to Allah. The old man listened quietly. Then he softly said, Sometimes Allah is not delaying your prayer. He is preparing you for it. Arif became silent. Those words hit his heart deeply. The old man continued, and sometimes, if that prayer gets accepted too early, it becomes harmful for you. For the first time, Arif began to think differently. What if there really was wisdom in Allah's delay? What if the thing he was asking for was not right for him at that time? That night, Arif returned home, but for the first time in a long while, his heart felt strangely peaceful. The problems were still there. Life was still difficult. But for the first time, he felt like Allah was not silent, that he was simply waiting for the right time. After that day, Arif did not stop making dua. But his way of praying changed. Now, he no longer prayed with impatience. Now, he prayed with trust. After every dua, he no longer thought, "Why haven't I received it yet?" Instead, he thought, "Maybe the best time has not arrived yet." And that thought slowly began healing his heart. Then one day, many years later, that same prayer, the one he had cried for through countless nights, was finally accepted. But the surprising thing was, when his prayer was finally answered, Arif did not just feel happy. He cried, because now he finally understood. If that prayer had been accepted earlier, he may never have become the strong person he was today. He realized that waiting had brought him closer to Allah. Patience had softened his heart, and pain had transformed his soul. Sometimes we only see our prayer, but Allah sees the entire life behind that prayer. We want things quickly, but Allah chooses the right timing. And that difference is the distance between our impatience and Allah's wisdom. If you are also waiting for a prayer to be answered today, then maybe the silence is not punishment. Maybe it is preparation. Maybe before Allah gives you what you are asking for, He is preparing your heart for it. And maybe your prayer is already on its way. Just remember, Allah is never late. He simply chooses the perfect time.